like to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll.
Thank you. The time is 7 o'clock. Trustee Albuck?
Here.
Trustee Gutierrez? Here. Trustee Porter?
Here.
Trustee Kunkel?
Here.
Trustee Bancole?
Here.
And Trustee Briggy?
Here.
Quorum established.
We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Please stand, if you would, in remembrance of Mark Montalbano's mother has passed. Take a moment to remember her. And former trustee Packham was 81. He passed recently. Take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right. We have a motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Any changes, any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
She stepped into the conference room.
Okay. Trustee Briggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Motion for a public hearing. Public hearing on the village's tentative January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 annual budget. I have a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do I need to call the roll?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
No,
No, okay.
we need to call for a vote. All those in favor?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anyone objecting? Hearing none. Summary of the tentative 2025 annual budget provided by the budget officer.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you.
I am pleased to present a summary of the 2025 annual budget for consideration and passage this evening, December 5th, 2024. The public notice that called for this hearing was published in the Daily Herald on November 25th, 2024. The recommended budget for 2025 totals $86,660,212 in revenues and $89,375,544 in expenditures for all funds. The general fund, the village's main operating fund, is budgeted to receive $45,684,945 in revenues and $46,711,571 in expenditures. The funding for vehicle maintenance and replacement of $1,948,493 will be taken from the fund balance. With that, a projected surplus of $921,867 for fiscal year 2025 will be added back to the fund balance. Highlights for 2025 budget are as follows. The general fund unassigned fund balance remains within the village's fund balance policy and goals. The current level of service is maintained. Continuation of scheduled funding to the village's pension funds in accordance with actuarial recommendations. Continuation of funding of the IT Equipment Replacement Fund to account for the future replacement costs of the village's information technology and the Central Equipment Fund to account for the village's vehicles scheduled to be replaced. The 2025 budget anticipates a 0% property tax increase in the corporate and debt service levy. This is the 9th year the village has not increased the overall levies for corporate and debt service levy. An increase to the gasoline tax from 2 cents per U.S. gallon to 5 cents per U.S. gallon. This will bring an estimated additional revenue of $300,000 effective January 1st, 2025 to fund the increasing costs of yearly street maintenance. An increase to water and sewer rate of 4.5% per year for the next 3 years, along with an increase to the infrastructure service charge of 8% per year for the next 3 years. It will take effect on the January 1st, 2025 bill. This increase is necessary to fund the replacement of our aging water infrastructure lines, which are already exceeding their useful life of 50 years. Capital spending plan, a total of over $3.8 million is allocated for street resurfacing and reconstruction projects, including the Turnberry resurfacing project, which is supported by the $500,000 DCEO grant. Also included is $7.6 million in additional improvements and replacements to the village's water and sewer infrastructure, including the electrical upgrade at the Schick Road pump station and continuation of the UV disinfection system construction with support from a $500,000 grant from the UV system grant Build America grant. The village continues to operate in sound financial condition. This concludes the staff presentation portion of this evening's hearing. I'm available to respond to any questions for the village board.
Thank you, Linda. Any persons desiring to be heard with the opportunity to present testimony and examine witnesses? Anyone? Tom, you're it. Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We've closed the public hearing. Moving on to presentation.
Time is now 7:07.
Somebody speak?
I did, just for the record. We ended the hearing at 7:07.
Oh, okay. Very good. Do we have any presentations this evening? Nope, not seeing any. Town hall session, anyone for town hall?
There is no one.
Well, Tom's here, but he didn't sign in. You're the only one here, Tom. I have to pick on somebody.
Want to talk inside football, fine, but that's about it.
Okay, village president's report. I'd like to just say a special thanks to the Boys and Girls Clubs. They're invited and moving into our schools in Hanover Park and doing an exceptional job. Christy helped out one of the schools with some toys, which was nice from her church. The 14th is Martin Luther King evening. I think a number of us are going. As far as I know, Herb is signed up. I'm signed up. John and Troy, I don't know if you're signed up, but we can have Sue figure that out. And trying to read my scribble here. I'd like to really like to thank Christy for her efforts to bring together all our tree lighting event. She's had wonderful support from the staff, predominantly in Public Works, providing amazing work. And I think he spent the better part of a day out there today and probably tomorrow or whatever. But it's nice to see that come together. It's been an amazing event. And so I do appreciate that. And I hope I get to see you all tomorrow. I'll have extra clothing on. It's going to be a little dippy on the bippy. The Lions will be out there. John, I'll let you speak to that. And so I still can't read that one. No. Assistant, I think I got it. Okay. So with that, moving on, move to approve by unanimous vote items on the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second.
The consent agenda consists of item 8A1 through 8A7.
Very good. We have a motion to accept the consent agenda
To pass it.
to pass.
We have a first and a second. Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
888.
888, motion to pass an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2025 budget in lieu of passage of an appropriation ordinance.
So moved.
Kunkel.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
And Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 889, move to pass an ordinance authorizing the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025, and ending December 31, 2025, in and for the Village of Hanover Park Special Service Area Number 3, which is Esther Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Christie, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 8810, move to pass an ordinance authorizing the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025, and ending December 31, 2025, in and for the Village of Hanover Park Special Service Area Number 4, which is the Mark, what is it? It
Mark
just says
Thomas.
Terrace, Mark Thomas.
Hanover Terrace and Mark Thomas.
Yeah, oh, Hanover Terrace. Thought I had a different name. Anyway,
So moved.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
And Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. 8811, move to pass an ordinance authorizing the levy and assessment of taxes for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025, and ending December 31, 2025, in and for the Village of Hanover Park Special Service Area Number 5, Greenbrook, Tanglewood area.
So moved. Second.
We have motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none.
Just one question.
Oh,
Juliana, you mentioned earlier that for SSA number 5, they're spearheading a 5-year plan. Do you know what year we're in for that 5-year plan as it relates to all the projects and improvements that they're
I
making?
had a discussion with Donna earlier today. They were in a 5-year plan, but then they had, their president was changed during that 5-year plan, and now they've reset a new 5-year plan. So this would be the first year, I guess, of that. I don't really have the details of
Okay.
how that fits into what was previously done. All we know is that the projects they presented equal that
Okay.
amount in capital expenditures. And Doug, did you want to speak or TJ?
well, Mr. Slater's not here, so I think,
Yeah, he's the new president again, so,
yeah.
go ahead.
That, what Juliana said is correct. It's the first year, you know, they try to have, their goal is to have a 5-year plan always looking forward 5 years. So this would be year 1 of that 5-year plan. Several of the projects are the first year of a multi-year project, you know, like the landscaping, they've got 5 year, they're gonna break it up into 5 years to get landscaping improvements out there. Tree trimming, it's gonna be a multi-year thing where they do about maybe a third or a quarter of the tree trimming that's necessary out there each year.
Okay. And so, do we know if the 5 years had finished? Are they re-upping it?
So
So did
it,
they reach their goal?
so that it's not so much like that, it's just every year they try to plan out for the next 5 years.
Okay.
Oh, so it's a rolling 5 years?
Yes.
So regardless of what they do, the village board determines what will be done, as opposed to
The
town.
activities that will be done.
It's the village board that determines what the projects are and how much will be paid for them, and so on and so forth. They can request, but it's the village board that actually.
Thank you, Bernie. I understand that Mr. Slater is now president again. Have we, I understand that he also oversees a board. Have we, as a village, had communications with the board as it relates to the decisions that they're making for this SSA? Are we in communication with the president and the board members as it relates to the decisions that they're making for this specific SSA?
Well, so Mr. Slater came to the budget hearing, and they came to the village and presented their 5-year plan and what they wish to do and the projects they'd like to see. And then the board had a discussion about whether they wanted to include that in the budget. And then after that, staff sat down with
Yeah.
Mr. Slater. I don't know whether it was the whole board.
It was not.
Him and his manager.
Correct.
And walk through the projects and the timing, because in previous years, that discussion took place later in the year, so the board encouraged it earlier on so that we could get through bidding process earlier in the year and get that project started in the spring. So not all of them, I think there's 5 projects.
Correct.
I mean, do you have anything else to add from that discussion with them this year?
From the staff level, we've always communicated directly with whomever was the point person of the board and their property manager. So the only time we would communicate with the whole board was typically when the mayor and I would attend their January meeting. They have an open house meeting in January. We've traditionally attended that, and then we would be in discussions with the whole board.
I mean, I don't want to necessarily speak for them, but what my understanding is that they are working to make improvements to that neighborhood, and there's a lot of improvements that are needed. So my guess would be that they would be interested in an increase in that SSA every year. So I think that the board is going to have to each year evaluate whether the projects are something that you want to move forward at that rate that they're interested in moving forward. This year's budget includes use of fund balance. They had funds in their fund balance, so we're allocating that fund balance to these projects so that they can get done.
Okay.
But that fund balance is all within that special service area.
Correct, yeah. It's money that has been generated through that SSA, so.
And the discussion to discuss this FY '25 SSA amount took place during this year? You said in January?
Yeah, well, he came to the budget meeting and had, presented at that special service area time when we had that meeting,
Which budget meeting?
the budget meeting.
You know,
Just within
in
the
what
past-
month, like
with-
October or
Well,
something?
whenever
Within the
we
past
had
few
that
months.
discussion. And he sat here and then he came and spoke to the board.
Wasn't too long ago.
And then he also
Maybe.
comes, before that though, presented to us those numbers and their requests, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
I think we got him working a little better. He used to wait until like the end, and then he'd rip us apart. And say, the process is get in here early so we know.
Thank you.
I think we
Thank
turned the corner on that one, so
Okay.
I didn't get my normal 40 phone calls from him, so I think we're looking good. All right. Where the heck are we? Oh,
So is there a motion and a second?
there's a motion and a second,
Is there a motion and a second?
There is.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
so we need to,
We need to vote. So trustee Kunkel,
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy? Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Motion to pass an ordinance authorizing the levy and assessment of taxes for the corporate and municipal purposes of the Village of Hanover Park, a home rule municipality, Cook and DuPage County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 25 and ending December 31, 2025.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All righty. 8813, move to approve warrant 1205, 2024 in the amount of $1,439,821.97.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the warrant? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
And Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 8814, move to approve warrant paid in advance, 11/16/2024 through 11/22/2024, in the amount of $1,743,208. $1,743,208.
$1,743,000.
I think I misspoke. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 8815, move to approve October 2024 P cards in the amount of $28,823.92.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priggy?
Yes.
Trustee Albuck?
Yes.
And Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Village Manager's report.
No report, Mayor, thanks.
Thank you. Village Clerk's report. In absence of Christie, do you have any?
I do have something. So on behalf of Village Clerk Merrill, we would like to invite everyone to attend our annual tree lighting festivities tomorrow from 5:30 to 7:30 at our Village Center located at 1900 Ontario Road. And if anyone is interested, you can have your family photo with Santa on December 9th and December 16th from 6 to 7 p.m., also at the Village Center by the gazebo. Thank you.
Did that last year with my two cubs. Very good, thank you. And Corporation Council report?
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Priggy?
No report.
Trustee Albeck?
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Gutierrez?
Just one quick thing, it's getting cold, so if anybody needs coats, hats, gloves, or anything like that, Hanover Park has a clothing closet, with POC. Just get in contact and, make sure they get their coats, that's all.
Leave our coats.
You can also, yeah, if you have gently used or new coats to donate, you can donate those as well.
Okay. Very good, thank you. We'll have to make sure we advertise that. The, Trustee Porter?
Thank you. At the last meeting, I mentioned that I wanted to give a recap, a very brief recap of my activities at the National League of Cities. And there's just one item that I want to bring to the forefront from a breakout session that I attended with the National League of Cities, the Federal Advocacy Group. And one of the constituency groups that I attended and that I was interested in is one based on immigration, local authority, and intergovernmental relations. And on December 16, 2024, from 1 to 2, there's going to be a strategy meeting, a virtual strategy meeting to discuss, and I'll just read very briefly, and it's a description of the event. It says, join NLC for a solution-focused webinar on available federal programs and resources to support local immigration initiatives to address the increasing challenges regarding in and out migration in communities across the country in alignment with federal laws and regulations. NLC will showcase the new Immigration Resource Dashboard that allows all cities, towns, and villages to explore the federal resources that their community may be eligible for or that they can uplift to their residents as direct beneficiaries. Then hear from local stakeholders' voices who will share best practices and emerging strategies for utilizing these federal resources to support their community strategies and efforts. So that's on the 16th. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend because I will be in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the Chicago Bears Vikings game.
Go Bears.
Yeah. I find it's easier to go see the Bears out of town than it is to see them at Soldier Field. So last year we did Detroit. This year we're doing Minnesota. That's just my family. We're kind of crazy like that. But anyway, I did want to mention that if there's anyone who would like to attend this seminar, this virtual seminar, it's only an hour, but I think there will be ongoing and other meetings that will happen as a result of this. But this was a very focused, a very engaged group. We had some very robust discussions on immigration, what other communities are doing, and I think being able to get a heads up on resources that may be available to assist us in the effort of dealing with migration as it is happening across the country, and with some of the forecasts of really potentially disastrous policies that may be coming forward with the new administration as it revolves around the deportation strategies and the different things that may be coming. I think that we're going to really need to have our nose to the ground to understand what's happening and what recourse we have to mitigate the impact of any adverse strategies, is how they may affect our communities. And this is one of those efforts, I think, that will give us a heads up on that. So if anyone wants to have this information, if you will send me a text message, and then I will forward it to you for your consideration.
Thank you, Herb, appreciate that. And any board member interested in, please contact Herb directly. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Herb shared a little time with me aboard ship when we were out there.
Yeah.
A little time to sneak in, sneak out. And I found out we had staff that followed us.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Anyway, I did step aboard a ship I hadn't been on 52 years. It's amazing. Trustee Kunkel.
Yes, myself and the mayor went out and delivered Thanksgiving dinner to 12 families in the village from the Basque Brigade. Pearl Harbor Day is the 7th, which is Saturday. Just so nobody forgets. I know nobody's here old enough to remember that or participate, at least in this room. But I want to let everybody know, we used to celebrate it, but we don't anymore. It seems it's kind of going to the wayside. Also, the Lions, they'll be having cocoa coffee at the, let's see, cocoa coffee and cookies next to the face paint tent at the Christmas tree line. And yesterday, first time I ever saw Santa do somersaults down the road. So he was doing somersaults yesterday. Lots of stuff was going around yesterday. So it was pretty exciting. The little kids thought it was great. One little kid got a video of it from his window. So it was pretty fun. Oh, that's all I have. So,
Lions gonna keep the cocoa hot?
yep. We're gonna use propane.
You were using propane, okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you, trustee Kunkel. Trustee Bancole?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I too spent the weekend before Thanksgiving delivering meals to families in partnership with the Basket Brigade of Suburban Chicago. It's a great organization, and I'm really glad that a good chunk of our board was able to support them in their efforts. Continue to meet with the DuPage mayors and managers, and one thing to note is that we're hoping to discuss a new approach with the regional COGS, councils of government, to form a more unified advocacy approach as it relates to municipal interests. So that's not set in stone, but hoping to learn more about that in the coming months. Mayor Craig and I were able to attend the DuPage County Board swearing in ceremony earlier this week, where we were able to see new and returning board members. And then I was also able to attend the swearing-in ceremony for Cook County Clerk Monica Gordon, who I've known for years, and she's an excellent leader, and it's really proud of her to see her in that new role. I was also able to very briefly attend the Next Level Northwest graduation, where we recognized and honors all the businesses that went through that program. And a special shout out to the Hanover Park businesses that went through that. It's just listening to just the approach and just the direct one-on-one counseling that these businesses get. It's such invaluable information. So I'm really, really glad that our village is a part of that program. And last but not least, this is on the matter of the discounted water infrastructure service charge. And so currently, as it stands, our ordinance allows for homes that have lines that are less than an inch at 3/4 of an inch to receive the discounted water infrastructure service charge. And I believe we wrote the ordinance that way because we were under the belief that that was all of our residential homes. But it's recently come to my attention that there are, I think the figure is almost 350. There's about 350 homes that actually fall under an inch. And so inadvertently, they're actually excluded from our ordinance as it stands. And so I'm hoping that we can, as a board, agree to just making that fix to our ordinance that just includes all the residential homes. And I'm hoping we can do that sooner rather than later, just because I wasn't aware that some of our homes fell in the inch category, and then it excludes them from receiving the discount. And so I guess I would like to make a motion to bring this ordinance back up for this fix, so that we can include all the homes within the village.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
They're not that smaller pipe, they're just under an inch?
Yeah, so some homes have 3/4 inch, and some homes have an inch. And I think we were under the assumption that village-wide, all the homes had 3/4 inch. But I think some of the newer homes, there's about 350 of them, are at an inch. And because of that, it's inadvertently making them ineligible for the discount. So we need to include all the homes. I think we were under the assumption that we included all the homes before. So I'm asking for us to bring that ordinance back as a board to make that adjustment, so that we're including all the homes. Because there's more homes, not every home is 3/4 inch, and I think that's what we thought before.
So we have a motion, is there a second?
Can you have a motion?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so a little discussion. I just received, I'm in the neighborhood, we replaced all the water pipes. What is the size of the,
So there's 2 neighborhoods that are in town that have that the developer put in 1-inch service meters instead of the 3/4 inch. My understanding from inspectional services is that those homes have they're larger homes, they have plumbing fixtures, and so to be on the safe side, they did a larger meter. When we did the infrastructure, the changes to the rates, it was previously that the discount was everybody had the flat rate, and then we went to change to a different rate for each meter size. And so, yes, there are some in town that have the 1-inch versus the 3/4 inch. Now, we calculated, I think, 354 house residential homes have the 1-inch. That doesn't mean 354 would get the discount. They would still have to meet the requirements of being a senior, I believe, and so I don't know how many that would be. But we would have to do an ordinance change in order to offer that if you so wish to do that.
Was the intent of the original ordinance for it to be equitable and available to everyone?
I don't know that I can speak. I think there was a lot of discussion and a lot of varying, there was a lot of discussion during that change. So whether everybody consistently wanted it to be just to the 3/4. I mean, the majority are at 3/4, and when we changed, we went to a different rate per meter. I mean, again, I don't think that it's that many that it would apply to. It's just we would have to make the ordinance change in order to allow for it to happen.
were those 300 and whatever homes, number of homes?
Well, it wouldn't be the 354, it would be those homes where there was a resident who met the requirements for the discount.
Okay, so that would suffice for the equity, as I'm hearing it.
I'm confused. So you're saying that if I had a 1-inch, I wouldn't be eligible for it?
Correct.
Correct.
The way the,
Seriously?
Yeah.
So is it worthy to bring back the ordinance?
Absolutely, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't either.
Well, I think instead of saying 3/4 and the 1-inch, we should just inclusive of just residential structures and not say what size pipe. I think that would be a better idea than saying 3/4, 1-inch.
yeah,
You know, inclusive of those, just say residential houses, because there may be some businesses that are running, they use 1-inch. Then you're looking at them getting a discount, and I think it should just be residential, households,
Yeah.
instead of just saying pipe size.
No, I agree with you, Trustee Kunkel, because I'm also even thinking about like new homes that might get built. So yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, there's a chart, so we'll have to do the chart with each of the rate, the sizes of the different pipes, so, or the meters, so we can bring back a recommendation. I mean, we'll have to
Let's give you
figure out
some
what
time
those
to
rates are.
drill down. This is a tough time right now at the end of the year, and we're not meeting the first week in January. So
So
We'll give them some time.
I'm okay with giving time, but I think in the interim, we should allow those that contact the village who may fall in that 1-inch category to be able to take part in
I
this
don't think I can do
program.
that.
Should be
Yeah.
all residential.
I agree. If we can make it
Yes, and
residential.
I was
trustee
under the
Kunkel was
assumption
saying there
that
should be
it
equity.
was all.
All residential.
Yes.
So,
So we can, you know, if we need time, you know, Mayor, I agree with you, you know,
We can't
let's
do
take
that.
some time to get this right, but in the interim, we should, I'm of the thought that we should allow those that want to contact the village.
Do you know of anyone that's trying to do that?
Yes.
So I guess.
This was brought up by one of those residents.
That has a 1 inch.
That's a senior.
So, the question was asked earlier as to whether you can make the motion to do that.
Okay,
And-
okay.
No, no.
I'll go back to that.
No, I say that was the question that was asked earlier, and I said, yes, you can make the motion and so on and so forth. And what the whole thing hinges on is, you know, is whatever is being accomplished finally. And so my view of it was, if you want to ask for an ordinance to be brought to the board, it's not final action, because that requires an ordinance to be drafted, brought to the board, and the board considers it. But to make motions concerning changing policy currently applicable now, that would be final action, that would be on the agenda. So
Okay.
I, you know, don't know whether it can be brought back in 2 weeks or January 13th. I don't know the answer to all that, but I don't think that you can change policy tonight concerning that.
Okay.
So
understand
I
what
don't
you're
think
saying.
we can
So you
bring,
mean like
we're
in
not
the
gonna be able to
interim.
bring it back to the next meeting in December, but we'll have plenty of time to bring it back to the second meeting in January. So that's one billing cycle, so
That'll be the first meeting in January. It's
the only meeting in January.
So those that have already reached out for assistance and thought that they were eligible under this program, only to find out that they aren't eligible, and are getting this program maybe because they are hard on financial times, what exactly are we going to do to rectify that matter?
Well, we can't give somebody a rate that's not in the ordinance. So until the ordinance is drafted, until the ordinance is approved by the board, they'll have to wait until that goes into place. You, go ahead.
So I want to clarify that all of the residents, no matter the meter size, are still eligible for our emergency assistance program.
So that's what I was gonna say, trustee
This is
Basil?
the senior, I think she's talking about the senior discount.
So,
But
seniors.
they can use the emergency.
yeah, they can use,
Yeah.
they still
If they
qualify
ha-
for our assistance program. This is strictly related to
Right.
the monthly discount on the infrastructure charge.
But the emergency assistance program is open to anyone regardless of meter size. So for right now, that could be a small Band-Aid until the ordinance comes back. and Something is decided.
I think we got it covered.
And if you need, like, they need help with the townships, I'm more than glad to help there and connect them.
So then the ordinance will be brought back to the board at the first January.
The January meeting, the only January, yeah,
Okay. And that will be the change in the ordinance,
correct.
including the verbiage that we decided on was all residential.
Well, we'll look to see if there's any residentials that are higher than 1
That-
meter.
There are not.
There are
All
not.
residential are 3/4 and 1 inch. I ran a report earlier today to confirm. The reason we have to specify in the ordinance, we'll look into it more, but because our rate structure is based off of meter size, we have to go in and specify for each meter size what the discount will be, and allow it to go with the schedule. So we could do that for every meter size if that's what the board is directing us to do. But I just want to clarify that that's the reason.
We don't
why
have
it's-
any above 1 meter,
So nothing about
1 inch.
But could you also look into what trustee Kunkel was saying about this umbrella of all residential, so that in the future, when we have new homes coming in, we don't run into this issue?
Yeah, we can look at
Or
the way
maybe the
we
next level
we
after
word it.
with that.
Yeah,
So that would mean, what it,
I
Uncle,
think-
you
I think-
said something about a business running on a
They're gonna bring it
On
back.
a one
though.
inch, right.
on a 1-inch meter, is that likely?
A what, a business?
Yeah.
Yes, businesses, quite a few businesses run on 1-inch meters.
So
But they
that's why
would
we
not
wanna
be
make it-
eligible.
That's why I said residential.
Want to make it residential.
It will be,
Yeah.
it will be
Yeah, we'll make
clarified
sure.
that it's only residents that
Okay.
get
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so. Okay, so that's.
So was there a motion and a second?
There was.
And trustee Porter second.
Yeah, you can take a vote, you can take a
What,
vote
can,
on a voice vote.
I know, they're not.
Okay,
All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Here, any opposed? No, it's, I think we want to have an equitable kind of a operation here. You know, we're looking at some newer homes built, they might want to put in a larger water pipe. So, you know, I think Linda identified how the individual could be managed through this. So I think,
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Oh, she did, okay.
is that the end of your report?
Yes, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 13.
Wow, look at this. Executive session?
No executive session.
No executive session? Can't we invent one?
Next year.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
With that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm still eating leftovers, which I love.
On voice vote, motion passes, meeting adjourned at 7:47.